All right, so welcome to our community time. My name is Rachel Richards. I'll be your host today. We will be talking about both your life book, your Habits of Health book, and I'm going to be sharing with you experientially how these areas, these nuggets have really helped me to be able to transform masterfully. And so when you think about the word transform, it means that you're unable to go back. And so I really want to give you that today. Like sometimes we'll just say, yeah, we're a transformational, program and all of those things. And we kind of use that word kind of flippantly, right? But think about the simple fact of a caterpillar going to a butterfly. A butterfly cannot go back to being a caterpillar. And if this goes down the way that Dr. A intended it to go down, you will not be able to go back. Does that mean you're going to be perfect? Does that mean you're not going to relapse? Does that mean that you're not going to have moments where you return to what's comfortable? Yes, you will. I am here to tell you that 4 years I've had my weight off, 4 years, but I still have a lot of mental work to do to correct the way that I comfort myself. And I have a pretty strong association with things that I've done my whole life that are hard to stop doing. But this community has definitely helped me with that. So I have a couple questions for you today, and I'd love it if you guys can write. If you're driving and you can't, like, by all means, don't write while you're driving. But if you can take some notes today, I would love for you to capture some of this to work with your coach with and unpack it. I think that would be so awesome. I know that I love unpacking things. I want you to think about this question. My first question to you: have you taken possession of this program, merely taken possession of it, or have you taken ownership? Ownership is a lot different than possession. I can possess something without taking ownership for it. And I think what Dr. A really wanted for you, having listened to him for so many years now, he wants you to own your life, like really own your life, where you get to draw a line down the middle of a piece of paper and say, these things no longer serve me. These things are where I want to go. And slowly but surely start to design a life that makes sense for you and your family. And that's really the program. And you might think, well, wait a second. I just kind of came here to lose some weight. Yeah, me too. I came here to lose some weight. I wanted to get 15 pounds of body fat off that was not helping me. But what I learned was the weight was just the byproduct of my overstuffed life. My overstuffed life is what had me eating things against my will. My busy as a badge life that I crammed in everything I could cram in, and it got so normal for me to skip meals, to not drink water, to not even go to the bathroom. And guys, I thought I was doing good things. I was serving at my kids' schools. I was in ministry. I was doing different things for women and working at volunteering my time with addicts. And I was like, I'm busy. I'm doing good things. And I was doing good things. But I was also doing a bunch of harm to myself. And I wasn't able to control all of those things at once. And so what would happen is, now tell me if you identify with this, and just maybe drop a 1 in the chat. Do you identify with this? I have earned this drink, this cookie, this meal because I have worked so hard. Excuse me. So when we cram everything into our life that we possibly can, even though it doesn't serve us, I want you to look at this flawed pattern. And I'm sharing this with you because this is what I wrote in my life book in element 1 and in element 2. When I started looking at my shares for you guys this morning, I want to share what provoked it. Okay, what provoked it for me was on page 25. And what Dr. A says is, the story of my past was not so optimal, And there were many areas of my life where I was far from thriving. That's why I hope you're confident that I can help you to help yourself. Guys, we're just here to help you to help yourself. You got to own your journey. You can have possession of your 5-in-1 program, but there's a day you got your program and there's a day you're going to choose to own it. Those days, I don't know. I mean, for me, it was a while before I actually owned my health, and I was losing weight and winning and dropping inches, but mentally, I was not owning my health. I was still treating Optavia like a diet. And I want to invite you, I want to meet you in that space today. If that's you and you're like, oh, that kind of sounds like me. I haven't really opened the books. I haven't been attending the meetings. I haven't used the services. I haven't been journaling because like, I just want to get this weight off. I applaud you for even doing that. But I'm here today to awaken you to a little bit more that the program has to offer. And every time you engage us as a community, I hope you take a little bit more and a little bit more. And over time, you're going to go, oh my gosh, the reason the nutrition was so easy is because they wanted us to be able to slide into the things that matter a lot more than the food we're putting in our mouth, which is all of those other things. So again, I asked that question when Dr. A says that I'm far from thriving. Guys, I was far from thriving. Are you far from thriving? Are you existing? Are you just kind of floating through your week, living for the weekend and rewarding yourself with food and drink because your life itself is overpacked and there's no time for self-care and there's no time to take a break or eat a meal or get a big glass of water? This is kind of our society, and that's what I'm really looking at with you this morning. Is I have noticed that now that I'm taking better care of my life, I don't need to reward myself with food anymore. Because my life, I want you to hear this, my life is starting to be the reward. And that's so crazy for me as a workaholic, go, A-type personality. To be able to have my life be the reward is just incredible. And I'm noticing I don't stand in the pantry as much or crave the things that I used to crave because life is starting to make more sense. Okay. So what does this have to do with element 1? Everything. Because if you don't have a why for why you did this, it will turn into a really short-term kick in the pants and you'll lose some weight. The nutrition's perfect, guys. I mean, if you do a 5-in-1, I haven't seen it not work for anyone. If you do the 4-in-2, whatever plan you're doing that makes sense for you, it's gonna work. The science is proven, but it's bigger than that. How can we give you that pounds protection program that you desperately need so that this is not something you did one time that was really cool, but it becomes a way of life? And see, when I got my kit, I'm just being honest. I did not even look at that thing and think I was getting a new way of life. I was like, I'm just so thrilled to be over 45 and I've been exercising myself to death and trying all these extremes and nothing was working. So I was just grateful that the nutrition part showed up for me. But once I got in these books, I kind of was seeing, oh my gosh, there's so much more. So those are my couple of questions. What is going on in your life that you're rewarding yourself with in ways that hurt you? What kind of rewards do you give yourself that are taking you further and further away from your desired outcome? What's gotta go? It might be a friendship, it might be a job, it might be some routines, but what's gotta go? And really looking at identifying what's not serving you, okay? So as we keep going, and really, I think element 1 is, we call it awakening. We're trying to wake you up to see what isn't serving you and why do you need to change. This is called intrinsic motivation. Remember that extrinsic is outside of you. It's great. Like, I'm going to give you an example of something called negative motivation. I want to work out, right? So I want to work out. So I sign up for a boot camp. Why? Because there's people waiting for me there. and I have a spot. And if I don't show up, they're all going to be texting me and saying, where are you? I thought we're waiting for you at the stop sign. The boot camp starting, like you're not here. That's called negative motivation. It's consequentialism. I have to go there because people are counting on me. That is external. A lot of our society is addicted to external motivation. It's a good start, but it won't carry you to transformation. Dr. A has proven it. And he says internal motivation is something nobody can take from you, and it will outlast it will lap extrinsic motivation all day. So if you're looking at element 1, you're going to start to see that you have to really address your current reality. Your current reality is very important to assess, but you do not have to be judgmental as you do it. Okay, you could just say, here is my current reality. Here's my waistline. Here's my weight. Here's my financial situation. Here's my sense of fulfillment. This is just your starting point. And I want to give you something today that was given to me, and it's so powerful. I don't have a healthy waistline yet. I do not have healthy finances yet. This is the power of yet. Okay. We know that you can create anything you want to create in your life, but there is that moment of yet. And I want you to hold space for that in your life. The power of yet. You will learn how to do those things. Once you start controlling what you put in your mouth, oddly enough, you'll control what comes out of your mouth. It's like really incredible stuff that we really don't have time to think about. One thing that I was wanting to look at on page 31 of the life book. So if you could just kind of head over to 31. And this is so cool. How many of you are hearing a lot about mental health, especially in the pandemic? Mental health, right? Well, I love his definition of mental health. You may disagree with it or you might agree with it, but let's look at it together, okay? He says on page 31, your mental health is primarily determined by how you take responsibility for your thoughts and your actions. As we work together, you're going to be able to place your thoughts and mind where you want for as long as you want and become that dominant force in your life. It's going to require you to go to the mental gym and install some powerful habits of a healthy mind. Now, I read that and I'm going to agree with him. I'm going to agree with him that the first thing that's required for mental health is radical responsibility for our thoughts and our actions. Nobody's doing anything to us, right? That kind of a posture of, if it's happening, it probably is happening for my growth. You know, even something icky is like, oh, I hate that this is happening, but it's probably happening for my growth and my opportunity is presenting itself. So I've never thought about mental health like that until I read that. So that was pretty powerful. I want to pause here and offer some interaction. It's not forced, you don't have to. But if any of this is resonating or you've been on program and you're seeing this in yourself and you want to share anything, this is experiential, it's not academic. This is my experiences this morning that I'm sharing with you. You are welcome to share yours with me. So I see Patrick and Sherry's hand up. Would you guys like to go first?
Hi, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. So, good morning, everyone. I just wanted to deal with this mental health situation that Dr. A is pointing out here about going to the mental gym. So I want to correlate it to page 11 of the life book. And this is something that I live in, and I think it's important to share. So the last two paragraphs on page 11 of the life book, Dr. A says right at the top in the introduction. So as I guide my clients, I tell them, stop at the intro before you just speed through. And he says, there's one important thing you should know. Your journey will not go perfectly as Don had us all come off mute last week and said, I love what he follows up and says, it will be full of challenges, setbacks, but they are all part of the life building process. And I now correlate this back to the mental gym. And I'm going to just be real unplugged and I'm going to share this with the community because I believe that if we come true and real, that's the only way we can help the clients and ourselves. So August 4th, I got hit with COVID. Okay. Mentally, as a health coach, it took me in a whirlwind because here's the chatter. Oh my gosh, I'm practicing healthy habits and this thing happened to me. So now here is the reality. My mental health said, this is happening to me. Like I'm not exempt from COVID, right? And then 4 days later, Patrick tests positive. So just to all my clients, just in case you didn't know, when we were showing up and walking you through, we were hit so bad. So now having to lean into a healthy mind, it made me stop right here at the mental gym and said, wait a minute, devil, hold up, hold up. This is not happening to me, it's happening for me because guess what? I have tools. Prior to getting that snap into mental health, this was my thought. Oh my goodness, I gave this to Patrick, right? Look at how life is now. The mind piece is starting to affect everything. Well, Patrick stopped eating. Guys, can I tell you that threw me into another whirlwind? Okay, so he stopped eating. I am stressed out. Well, hey, Habit of Health tells us that stress is the #1 indicator. Guess what I start doing? I'm panicking because he's not eating. I thank God for this program. I realize, guys, that this is more than weight loss. This is now life. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take over, Rachel, but the bottom line is this. Once this whole situation started to happen, at some point I had to stop, challenge, and choose. So when Rachel told me 2 years ago at 5'6", my healthy weight is 150, that ain't realistic for African Americans. She don't know what she talking about. We big bone. But you hop into this 166, 167, and you hear what Dr. A is saying. So this mindset has to keep moving from what we thought was true to what this physician-led program says. I'm so grateful that when I hit 150, I started to see there's a range. So I went down lower. How does that affect me in this COVID situation? I'm stressed out about him not eating. Guess who stopped eating? Guess who wasn't on plan? So I dropped 5 pounds. Well, I went down to 130. And then I went, I was initially 130 after the 150. Then now I hit 125. Remember, my range is 120 to 150. When my mind got caught up in the mental gym, and I said, wait a minute, this is ridiculous. I have to take responsibility. I started to eat when he started to eat. And as a result, gaining the 5 pounds, it didn't hurt me because I'm in the range. So the bottom line is this, man, when it hits you, that's when the things of the page, the words of the page hit your gut. And then we got to make a decision. Did I pass the test? No, guys, I was stressed out. I was stressed. I'm sorry, Rachel, you can take it back.
You're great. No, I think a lot of us can absolutely identify with that. And I think it has to be talked about because we have this perception of, even especially as health guides, right? Once we take on phase 2, we start helping other people in our circle. Then it's like this, oh my gosh, I can't fail. And it's not a failure. It's Dr. A. I love page 77 of your Habits of Health book. We won't go there today, but oh my gosh, it says the 6 stages of change include that permanent change includes lapses and relapses. Well, guess what? I should have read that on day one of my health journey, because
Mhm.
I literally thought that if you had a lapse of judgment or a relapse into your old habits, that, oh, you failed. And Dr. A's like, no, no, no. That's a literal part of transformation, is to have moments where you have a lapse or a relapse. And so thank you, Sherry, so much for sharing that with us today. I know it resonates with a lot of people, and we're very happy that the two of you have recovered more than anything. I did see another hand up. I thought it was Jennifer. It was out of the corner of my eye. So Jennifer, if you still want to share, just take yourself off mute. And then if not, I will lead us to another section where we can unpack some more.
She told me it was an accident, Rachel. You can keep going.
Okay. I never know. I figured, but I thought I'd ask. All right. So I would love to take you. So element 1 of the life book is going to prompt you to establish your why. Why are you doing this? And peel it back, go 7 layers deep. And I just want to say this. We work with lots of people who, some people go, I don't want to think about all this. I just want to lose the weight. I don't want to journal. I don't want to do the meetings. I don't want to do the writing. I don't want to do the talking. I just want to lose the weight. I know what to do. I lost my way. Let's go. And I love you and I see you in that space. And I know that that can be a way of living. I just haven't seen it lead to permanent change. And even the most productive people in the world have to take time for critical thinking. And it's been proven that the most productive people in the world spend a lot of time doing some critical thinking. This is why your health coach may ask you to post on social media what's happening with you. Your sleep is better. I'm down 10 pounds. I have clarity of mind. I have no cravings. Because when you live it out loud on social media, you're critically thinking about what's changing and you're starting to go, wow, I am really changing. And so I want you to think about that. But we're going to refer to page 79 of your Habits of Health book. Remember, 1.3 is being referenced. So you're going to go from your life book to your Habits of Health book, because you need a little bit of science and a little bit of mindset and so on. But look at what Dr. A says, and maybe this flywheel was not for you, but I think it was for most of us. He says, typically you're going to make some changes, but later you're going to fall back into your old way of behaving. This is page 79, right at the top of the page. Why? Because whenever you experience emotional conflict and feelings of negativity, you're going to want it to stop. So your brain has what's wired together will fire together. When you were a baby, you cried and they would put a bottle in your mouth. When you got a good grade, you would go out for ice cream. When you had a bad breakup, your friends would pick you up for nachos. Guys, these are neural pathways, okay? And your brain says, I'm uncomfortable, I'm gonna go eat. I'm uncomfortable, I'm gonna go spend money. Whatever it is that takes you away from your desired life, we have to confront it and have new ways of coping. And so he says, who wants to feel uncomfortable? I don't. I didn't want to feel uncomfortable. You think about your health problems and how much you hate the way you look, and your natural response is to feel terrible about yourself. So in order to end that discomfort, you take actions that make you feel better about yourself. Maybe you go on a diet, get off the couch, start exercising. But here's the line, highlight it. But those actions aren't motivated by what you want. So they lead you into this predictable cycle. I'm going to stop right here. You can spend your whole life avoiding what you don't want, or you can start to rewrite your story and create what you do want. I'm going to do the latter because I was sick and tired of running from the boogeyman. And everything I didn't want is what I was trying to outrun. And then I stopped in my tracks and I realized, you know what? This is crazy. I would much rather wake up in the morning and create life than run from my old life and run from food and run from weight management and run from all these things. They're not serving me. I am going to become the creator of my day and win the day. And so I just had to stop it because it was exhausting, you guys. And I know I'm not alone because I talk to clients every day in the Zoom room and they're teared up and like, I can't live like this anymore. And look at the cycle. He says, you're going to have some emotional conflict that leads you to act. Let's just look at 2020, 2021, a little bit of emotional conflict. Because you've acted, you feel better. Even if the situation hasn't changed, feeling better takes the pressure off, thereby lessening your emotional conflict. We're sitting on the couch, we're munching on those plan approved pistachios, but we are not eating the 18. We're eating the whole bag. It feels good. Hey, these are plan approved. I'm just going to eat a couple extra and act like no one noticed. And this is how I make myself feel better. But then that feeling better, that leads to less emotional conflict. And that means there's less reason to continue doing the things that reduce the conflict in the first place. So now that you feel better, you no longer need a pressing need to follow through on your actions, and all this original behavior continues. You see, when we self-soothe in ways that don't serve us, we never have to grow. We never have to look at the friendship that's upsetting us. We never have to look at the commute that we hate, that we're like, why did I do this? Why am I committing to this? We could just eat the nuts, eat the things, and go, I'm not looking at it. I'm not even going to address it. And this is really the core of our program. Our program is mental rewiring. And yeah, we give you food and we take care of that because we want you to have time to do the mental push-ups that are going to lead to permanent transformation. And if you haven't seen that about our program yet, that's okay, because it's pretty uncommon to have anybody willing to help you with the 3.5 pounds between your ears. Everybody's willing to train your body or tell you what to eat. But I think we're pretty convinced as a society that that isn't working, because we are the most active culture in the world, and we are on the, our food systems are overprivileged. I mean, we have it all and it's not working. And so we have to address the mental side of this and go, gosh, I was never taught how to stop, challenge, and choose. I was never taught how to write out my why and live a conscious life. I was taught, get up, go to work, survive, come home, reward yourself, do it all over again tomorrow. And people are tapping out, like it's not working. And so I'm so excited that you're here. And I just want to give you today the offer of go all in. And maybe you have a box and it still has books in it or whatever, but take ownership today. So I want to challenge you to move from possessing your kit to owning your health. Two different things. You're not alone. We're all here together. I have had a really tough time lately just because of the stress of life. I'm married to a fireman, lots of stuff happens. And me too. I want to go and comfort myself. But it's you guys that I wake up to every Saturday, and the other coaches that I do life with, and the books, and it keeps me grounded. And this is why Dr. A has it built into the program that you can do this too, because he knew that if you didn't help other people, you would skirt away. After you lost your weight, you would just skirt away and you'd have a bigger chance at relapse. And so that's why that was intended. I didn't understand when I was a client, why do they want us to coach? I don't get it. I just want to be a client. You know, why do I have to coach other people? Like, that was weird for me, just being honest. But when I sat and listened to Dr. A, and he was like, yeah, but a client stays 2.5 months, a guide stays 2.5 years. How long do you think it takes to change? You think it takes 2.5 months to change your life? It takes years. So that's why he wanted cement in your boots and for you to teach these concepts to people that you love, right? And so it's not some angle to get you to coach. It's really a pure intention of that. So I just wanted to share that today, because clients will ask me that a lot, like, do I have to coach? And, you know, we'd love to unpack that with you and tell you how it might benefit you. Anyhow, today I just really wanted to share from my heart I hope that you guys have an incredible weekend and that you can get to your why. If your why is not written out, I would encourage you to do that. If you want to voice text it to yourself on your phone, I would encourage you to do that. And when you're having a tough day, play that back to yourself. And your why, if it doesn't, we kind of joke, if it doesn't make you cry, it's not your why. And I'm not trying to make you all soft and everything, but honestly, you got to peel it back. Like I'll be working with a client. I'm like, why do you, they'll call me. I need to lose some weight. Why? I don't feel good in my own skin. Why is that important? It's affecting my mood. Why is that important? I'm not showing up as a father and a husband the way I want to be. Why is that important? Well, it's affecting a lot of other things in my life. I just don't feel fulfilled. I'm not in a good place. And so when you peel back your why, now that little sweet treat has to come against that why versus I just want to lose some weight. And having your marriage, your children, and your legacy be on the table is a lot more impactful than I just need to lose some weight. That's not a big enough anchor to hold you through the 3 phases of the program: induction, transition, and optimization. 3 phases. Thank you guys so much for being here. We went a couple minutes over. Have a great rest of your Saturday. Please check in with your coach and just tell them one thing, one little thing that this morning opened up, spoke to you, caused a shift, and share it with them while it's fresh on your mind. Okay, have a great day, guys.